Welcome to This Explainer. Look, real growth doesn't just happen by accident. It starts with knowing exactly who you serve and exactly what pain you remove. Honestly, this is the ultimate differentiator between a chaotic spray and pray sales approach and moving with absolute surgical precision.
So, ask yourself, do you really know who you're serving? It's the ultimate question in B2B sales. Because vague targeting, it is a massive drain on your time and resources. But rigorous customer discovery, that transforms abstract market research into a highly practical, high-converting buyer profile. It takes you from guessing to actually knowing.
Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll cover the 4 building blocks, filtering with the ICP, company versus human, the buyer's 5 stages, and finally, the value proposition framework. We're going macro to micro here, zooming in from the broad market all the way down to the exact words you need for your pitch. All right, let's jump straight into section 1, the 4 building blocks. This is the absolute foundation of customer discovery. If you want to stop guessing and start closing, you have to lock down these 4 specific pillars. Think of them as your compass. You've got your ideal customer profile, your buyer persona, the buying journey, and the customer's pain points and needs. The crazy thing is how totally interdependent these are. If your whole team doesn't have these 4 blocks firmly established, your outreach is basically just wandering in the dark. Moving right along to section 2, filtering with the ICP. Let's start at the macro level and zoom in on the right company. Here's a concept that really trips people up: the power of negation. A truly usable ideal customer profile, or ICP, shouldn't just be a fluffy wish list of your dream clients. It literally needs to be specific enough to disqualify the vast majority of companies out there. You're looking to identify the exact accounts most likely to buy, succeed, and stick around. If your ICP qualifies everyone, it's not an ICP at all. When you're building this filter, the standard metrics are probably pretty familiar. You've got firmographics measuring size and industry, technographics looking at tools like Salesforce, and trigger events, say a recent funding round. But look at that bottom row, anti-criteria. This is an absolute game changer. These are explicit disqualifiers, explicit reasons to say no. Imagine wasting weeks painstakingly pitching a prospect, only to realize they literally have no budget owner. Defining your anti-criteria upfront keeps your outreach ruthlessly efficient. Now for section 3, company versus human. We filtered down to the right building, now we need to find the exact right people inside it. This illustrates such a common trap. The ICP describes the company. That's the who we sell to. But the buyer persona, that describes the human. That's who we actually talk to. Confusing the two is a massive source of misdirected outreach. You aren't pitching a brick-and-mortar corporate logo. You're pitching a stressed-out professional sitting at a desk who probably just wants to crush their goals and log off at 5 p.m. And in a B2B sale, it's almost never a solo act. You're navigating a complex web of personas in every account. You've got the economic buyer gripping the budget tightly, a champion actively fighting for you on the inside, influencers swaying the final vote, and blockers who just want to maintain the status quo. You absolutely have to map these stakeholders out, because your message has to adapt dramatically depending on which human you're talking to. Let's roll right into section 4, the buyer's 5 stages. We're going to map out their psychological timeline. Imagine a 30-day buying cycle for a second. We can essentially walk right alongside our buyer's brain as they go through this timeline. On day 1, they are totally unaware. They're doing their job and don't even realize something's broken. But by day 7, boom, they're problem aware. They feel the pain. Fast forward to day 14, and they become solution aware, scoping out broad categories. By day 21, they're product aware and comparing specific vendors, hopefully including you. Finally, day 30 hits, they reach most aware, and they're ready to sign. It's fascinating how predictable this internal journey can be. So why does that timeline matter so much? Well, a problem-aware buyer desperately needs education and context to understand their own pain. But a product-aware buyer, they already know what they want, they just need a specific proposal and a vendor comparison. The takeaway here is that your content must strictly match their current stage, not just their job title. Sending a dense 50-page pricing contract to someone who just realized they have a problem will completely scare them away. But sending a basic educational white paper to a buyer who's ready to sign, that's a massive missed opportunity. All right, section 5, the value proposition framework. We've pinpointed the company, the human, and the timing. Now it's about delivering the exact right words. It turns out every killer pitch follows this exact order of operations. First, pain.
You have to name the problem precisely, using the buyer's own words. Second, solution, connect your offering directly to that specific pain. Third, benefits, translate that solution into concrete outcomes they actually care about, like time saved or risk reduced. And fourth, ROI, quantify the return in the buyer's own currency and time frame. The sales pros who consistently walk prospects through this exact sequence, they will absolutely outperform the reps who just blindly ramble off product features every single time. So, I'm going to leave you with a challenge to really test your own discovery process today. Sit down and draft your explicit anti-criteria to tighten up your ICP. Then map your pitch strictly to that pain, solution, benefits, and ROI framework. Keep it under 150 words. The ultimate test? See if you can nail that pitch out loud in under 120 seconds. If you can't, it might be time to revisit those 4 building blocks. Thanks for joining this explainer, and go perfect that pitch.